All right, welcome in. We have a bit of a controversial one here today. The spectacular failure of fat acceptance by the controversial Sydney Watson. And let me just point it out off rip. This is an insane thumbnail to put died with an arrow pointing to someone. That's crazy. It kind of reminds me of the subreddit leopards ate my face or ate their face, if you've ever heard of that. Mostly it's just like people laughing at people who died to COVID while posting about COVID not being real, which, like, on one hand, I understand where they're coming from. Like, haha, you said it wouldn't kill you and it did, haha. But someone died, someone's mom died, so I don't take joy in that. I also don't take joy in a fat person dying, even when they're saying it's okay to be fat, with all due respect. But let me give you a little bit of a backstory on myself. Now, while I am an internet skull on the internet, I was once an amateur bodybuilder. Believe it or not, you can, view me as a malnourished incel if you would like, but I was once an amateur bodybuilder. Amateur meaning competed and did not take steroids. Kind of wish I did take steroids, but that's another story for another day. This is all to say that I know how to gain weight and I know how to lose weight. Screw the cops ruining my intro, I'm not cutting it out. It is what it is, I live in the trenches. Please help me escape. Like and subscribe. Handshake. But yeah, you get where I'm coming from. I think I'm a little more empathetic than the normal person who would watch a fat acceptance roast video. And like I said, I do have experience gaining a lot of weight and losing a lot of weight.
I regret to inform you, this is where we're at. Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell. And of course, as per usual, before we launch in, this video is sponsored by me and my little tea company, Lions Tea Exchange. I
do think it's cool that she has her own little tea company and uses it to sponsor her own videos. With that said, the shoe video taught me that drinking tea is not manly. Some might say it's even gay and woke. Therefore, I cannot drink this tea. I apologize. I cannot buy my father this tea. I cannot in good faith recommend you guys buy your father this tea. But you guys can buy it for yourself. That might be good. Also, I'll put a link up here if you would like to see my shoe video.
I originally started working on this video a little while ago when Victoria's Secret was collapsing in on itself. And the brand announced it was returning to sexiness and ditching its feminist makeover. Apparently, feminist makeover means ugly and fat. But since then, several things have happened that have crystallized for me that the fat acceptance and body positivity movements are in freefall. Shocking, I know. Who would have thought that movements dedicated to obesity would fail? Not me.
Who would have thought? Not me.
The acceptance and normalization of obesity has been accelerating for some time. And with the emergence of TikTok, fat activism has been allowed to take off and flourish, convincing thousands of people that being fat is not only completely fine, but healthy.
We need to be actively deconstructing the idea that weight loss and getting smaller is what health is what feeling good is. We need to stop.
Well, it sure as hell isn't giving yourself diabetes and then crying about thin privilege.
Yeah.
I just realized from that last shot, I should probably acknowledge it is once again that time of year where my arms and face are a different color because I don't mind getting a tan here, but I don't want this to go in the sun. Because of the lines. Judge me all you want. I don't want to look like a saggy bag of cheese. But the problem is, this assertion about health and obesity is a lie. Finally, after years of obesity being glorified at worst and promoted at best, it seems that there has been a very obvious and significant shift in the way that people feel about this issue. When fat influencers aren't dying, they're actively turning on these movements. Brands and companies have started to completely move away from body positive messaging, and there seems to be this general impatience accommodating obesity at every turn. Not to mention, the weight loss drug Ozempic has been on everyone's minds.
She's talking a lot about how obesity is glorified in the media and whatnot. Sorry I was silent for so long. I was just trying to take everything in. And from what I've seen as someone who's not... Listen, I'm terminally online, chronically online, whatever you want to call it. I am, don't get me wrong, but not on TikTok. And I feel like most of this is on TikTok. The one thing I have seen in regard to fat people is being able to get free plane tickets. Like, since they don't fit in one seat, they're given a free extra seat. I have seen that. I do think that's absurd. I don't think that's okay. I think they should be charged with all due respect. But that's really the main like fat acceptance angle I've seen. And as far as Victoria's Secret, I didn't hear about that. But I'm down to see some thick women in some lingerie. We'll see if there's any examples. I wonder if it's like truly an obese woman that they're putting in the Victoria's Secret lingerie, or if it's just a thick woman. You know, if it's a thick woman, I can get down with that with all due respect. But if they are trying to, you know, like glorify actually morbidly obese women, that's kind of cringe. You know, it's a little cringe. But if they're just showing, hey man, if you're obese, you can have Victoria's Secret underwear or lingerie, then okay, I'm fine with that. But yeah, the way she presented that, it was real quick. I was hoping she would show a little bit more, but maybe it's for later on in the video. And as far as Ozempic, those celebrities, legit, because there are actually diabetic people. By the way, my dad's diabetic. Figured I'd let you know. And he's not on Ozempic. But anyway, there is a shortage of Ozempic because these douchebag Hollywood celebs all want Ozempic. Come on, guys. Come on, stop it. As if you didn't have enough money to like have proper chefs cooking you proper good food to begin with. Anyway.
Whether it be speculating about the latest celebrity who has dropped a few pounds on it, or using the drug as the butt of jokes, like on the recent special episode of South Park.
Oh, hey, I gotta watch this. I noticed some React channels are straight up reacting to this and putting it on YouTube. How does that work? And would you guys even want to see me do something like that? Like watch a full-blown South Park episode? I don't think this is legal. Though, so maybe you can't watch me do that, but hey, I see other channels do it, and they're big. They're like way bigger than me.
The end of obesity. They're very aptly named. But
and you know, Kendrick dunking on Drake with his Ozempic prescription.
Remaining fat activists are not taking any of this lightly. Pun absolutely intended.
All right, let's see the molding.
Not sorry. I saw recently a research paper where a fat scholar wondered if Ozempic could be considered a form of eugenics against fat people.
This is beyond brain dead. What? This is a legitimate study? What is this? Listen, I am not the most scholarly. I will not pretend to be. But is this in like a legitimate journal? If someone does know, please tell me. Because like this is like genuinely alarming if it is. Bruh. A drug that can help many, many people lower their risk of many, many cardiovascular diseases is considered a form of eugenics against fat people. Listen, guys, if you're fat, I don't hate you, man. If you don't want to lose the weight, I don't hate you. But it is unhealthy. 9 times out of 10, it is unhealthy. Okay? Honestly, maybe even 10 times out of 10. But I'm no medical doctor. There might be one weird offshoot scenario. We'll call it 99 times out of 100. Somebody said something to me once long ago. It wasn't to me, actually. I just heard it in passing. And maybe this is a famous quote, but they said, think about it. You never see an old fat person. And they're right. I haven't.
The Daily Beast.
Like, make no mistake about it, Ozempic, Mounjaro, all those other weight loss drugs are a good thing. Do they have crazy side effects in the future? Maybe. I don't think they do. I think they've been like studied for a while. I think they've been in trials since like 2010. I could be wrong on that. You can fact check me. But I think Ozempic has been studied for quite some time. And I do think the benefits outweigh the negatives. We just, need to have the already thin celebrities stop taking it.
Even wrote an article asking if Ozempic was
Also, since we're on the topic, let me just say something real quick. So in New York and probably other locations as well, let me put on my hat real quick. You cannot get an Ozempic prescription until you have diabetes. Like Medicaid won't pay for it. This is specifically on Medicaid. I'm just going on a tangent real quick. Isn't that insane? Like if you are pre-diabetic, they will not give you Ozempic. They're going to wait for you to become diabetic. Then you can be prescribed Ozempic. Like, come on, dude. Stop it. Care about the people for once, please.
making fat phobia worse, saying that the manufacturers of the drug are turning a staggering profit by exploiting our fears about fatness. Bold assertion there, although I think it has less to do with fear.
Yeah,
and
man,
with
honestly, I was like going into this thinking I'm gonna maybe defend a few of the fat fellas, the fat acceptance fellas, but I didn't realize they were this brain dead. I thought, they were just fat dudes who were like, I don't want to lose weight, respectfully. But no, they're going off the deep end. Fair enough.
to do with wanting to be able to
Empathy can only take you so far.
climb a flight of stairs. Not to mention all of the fat influencers who are attacking other fat influencers
Are
because
they?
they chose to lose weight and get in shape and get healthy, and that is somehow a slight against them.
I've had to unfollow so many people this week.
Why?
Because everyone is like, I'm taking a new medication for weight loss. I'm doing this new thing for weight loss. I'm doing it for weight loss. I'm sick of it.
Bro, if you want to be fat, you can be fat. If they want to lose weight, they can lose weight. What is with like every single social commentary topic that we cover on this channel? What is it with everybody trying to police others and do what you want to do? Let others do what they want to do. If they are not actively harming someone else, leave them alone. They are allowed to do it. If a guy wants to wear a dress, he's allowed to wear a dress. If a fat person wants to lose weight, they're allowed to lose weight. It's insane that I even just said that sentence, but you get it.
You can be fat and healthy the same way you can be thin and unhealthy. So don't hide behind this facade that your weight loss is all for
Define fat, right? If you're a 25.5 on the BMI scale, I think you can still be healthy, of course. BMI is stupid, obviously. Like at one point, at the peak of my bodybuilding days, I had extremely low body fat, but my BMI was over 25, which classifies me as overweight or obese. I don't even remember. I think it's just overweight. I'm not sure what the 25 mark is. But anyway, you get the point. You get what I'm saying. But being morbidly obese, I'm pretty sure under no circumstances is that truly genuinely healthy. Like look at those football players, the defensive linemen. I don't think they're healthy. I really don't. Sumo wrestlers also are not healthy. Sure, they can be athletes, but they're not healthy. They're gonna die sooner than the average person.
health benefits because we know that's not true. We know you're losing weight so you can look better, whatever the that means. Maybe you're just ugly, just a thought. But I am so sick of it.
People really need to not attack one's appearance like ever because it just undermines your position. And I know like a ton of people on her comments are gonna like call her ugly because she called someone else ugly. And it's like, it's just so stupid, It just undermines what you're saying. Attack their brain dead words, don't attack their appearance. With that said, she attacked an appearance first, so feel free to cook her. But,
I'm so sick of especially you fat bitches currently who have built your platforms on being fat and gained hundreds of thousands, even millions of followers.
Oh, is this a case of, an IPOS where they're just salty that someone got more followers than them? Is that what we're looking at?
Because you've been this body positive queen for people, and now what?
You're not body positive, bro. You hate skinny people, apparently. So
Got the fame, you've got the followers, so you're done. You've got what you wanted, so now you're gonna go turn your back on all these people who have supported you?
Well, I guess someone has to, because their knees certainly can't anymore. So that's what we're going to talk about today, why the fat acceptance and body positivity movements have failed so spectacularly. Spectacularly. I think I did this last time. Because to be totally frank, it's actually quite alarming how few people aren't really all that concerned with taking care of themselves.
no, yeah, this is alarming. I knew what I was getting into when I clicked it, to be honest. I don't know why I didn't expect the brain rot to be so brain rotty. I don't know why I do this. I need to get with the times. I need to realize it's always 100 times worse than I think it's going to be, even though I think it's already going to be terrible.
And admittedly, a lot of people are very comfortable doing things that will inevitably hurt them in the long run, rather than turning to something like Magic Mind, which is designed to optimize your focus without pumping you
Is this a
full
double
of big
sponsor?
pharma-
All right, listen, we have a one sponsor maximum per video, but this is for Magic Mind, probably some fake placebo shot, but this is the link, and you can use that code for up to 56% off your first subscription. I do not recommend you purchase this, though. Seems fake to me. Anyway.
Not too long ago, I came across an article titled, "Thinness is Creeping Back In, but My Fat Liberation Isn't Just a Trend." In it, the writer explains how good she felt leaning into the fat acceptance and body positivity movements, after years of counting calories and obsessing about being thin. However, she said that she's now noticing that people are sliding back towards valuing thinness and what she calls heroin chic. The writer goes on, "It's starting to become increasingly apparent how many people and brands were simply using body positivity and curve washing as zeitgeisty marketing ploys. If it's any indication of what's to come, many influencers who previously used body positivity to build a career and land brand deals are coming right out and telling us how they really feel. And how they feel is that fat acceptance is bad and being able to fit into plane seats is good."
Yeah, and you know, people can change their mind, they can change their opinion on things. This is normal. This is okay. Especially when it pertains to your health. And, you know, the longer you are obese, the more health problems you would get. So it makes sense that when they're in the beginning stages of being obese, they're farming TikTok views and all that stuff. And then, you know, damn, it kind of hurts to walk. My knee hurts. I can't fit through this turnstile. It would make sense that then they want to lose weight. Come on, man.
Gives me a
The
little
mental gymnastics these people are doing is insane. It really is. Like I said, if you want to be fat and you feel happy being fat, great. Have fun. But if other people don't feel great being fat, that's okay too. Too damn bad. You know what I mean? Is there like a short guy acceptance? Is that a thing? Can we start doing that? Can we get like a bunch of short dudes flipping the hell out and just screeching and crying that there is no short acceptance? Because they can't even change that. And they don't have this movement. You don't see ads for short dudes, do you? No. But you see like Dove doing the body positivity stuff, but those short fellas, they don't matter, apparently. When honestly, they actually have a right to complain and cry. The fat acceptance movement, you guys are choosing to be fat. Don't shoot me, could be a medical problem. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. But at the end of the day, if you have enough willpower, and I will concede, if you have enough money, you're going to say, but if you have no money, you'll starve. Yeah, if you're starving, you're not going to be fat in the first place. But if you have enough money to purchase things that aren't terrible for you, and you have the willpower, the mindset, you can lose weight. You most certainly can. You can yell at me in the comments if I am wrong. Make sure you put your credentials as a doctor down there, though. You will lose weight. Calories in versus calories out works 99 times out of 100.
Bit of PTSD there. I'm not
gonna... Oh, I forgot what that whole tangent was. But if you're born short, you're born short. You can't do nothing other than getting like your legs cut, your shins broken, and you get that surgery, and then you're like, what, 4 inches taller, but now you're beyond super weak. Really stupid surgery, by the way. I feel bad for anyone who feels the need to get that surgery, but I guess I can understand if someone like really hates being short and they feel that they are viewed as less in society because of it. I can understand why they'd be pushed to do it, but it's really sad. I hate to see anyone get that surgery done. But anyway, I digress. Back to fat people. That's enough about short guys.
Never again. But apparently, all of this is off-putting and wrong to our fat activist friends. But what this Daily Beast writer is saying is not actually isolated. Over the last little while, I have noticed a massive uptick in people getting very upset at former fat influencers getting healthy and losing weight.
I think that's a great thing. I love like anyone who has a glow up, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like pop off, dude. It's inspiring. I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you.
Take the heat since no one else will, and I'll talk about this. The fact that there are influencers who built gigantic followings based on their conversations around body positivity, healing your relationship with food.
They keep talking about body positivity. Like, guys, body positivity means any body. It does not say fat positivity influencers. Like, be happy in your own skin no matter what it is. Yes. What are these? Yeah, they are idiots, man. Why am I even going to ask the question?
Exercise, who have now done a complete 180 and are now talking about weight loss medications, weight loss surgeries, and just like being on a weight loss journey in general. Literally just making coffee or eating their fucking breakfast talking about the shit is insane. That should literally be illegal. The fact that there's one particular influencer who built over 300,000 followers.
Is this another case of being a salty little wah farmer because someone has more followers?
Talking about her ED recovery journey.
Oh,
and
bro,
is
her name's Anti-Diet Pilot. That's crazy.
now every single day talking about the fact that she's intentionally losing weight to those same exact followers. You have to be out of your God. My brain I can't wrap my head around.
Same, sis, same.
I've had to unfollow so many of my mutuals because this behavior is just so despicable.
I've also noticed an uptick in articles and videos angry about the emergence of quote-unquote thinness again, after believing the desire to be small, thin, and athletic was seemingly defeated by the fat acceptance and body positivity movements.
So I don't know if y'all have been paying attention to the signs.
I do love this right here. Fat Babe rant, that goes hard.
We are re-entering a thin is in era, and it's fucking with me real
I will
bad.
say this, like in the early 2000s, the thin is in era, I think you could call that the real thin is in era. It was kind of weird, man, because like you look back and like they were calling Britney Spears fat for being like extremely normal. It's kind of bizarre, to be honest.
Now, I would like to make note of the fact that fat activism and fat acceptance have always been this bizarre, corrosive arm of the body positive movement. Over the years, it's been marked as a group of people united against diet culture and weight loss, with the movement even going so far as to shame people for losing weight, and drawing lines in the sand on who is really considered fat and who is allowed to participate in their
I like these eyebrows.
ideology.
Now that body positivity has been co-opted by all bodies.
Excuse me? Now that body positivity has been co-opted by all bodies? Are you an idiot? Yes, you are. You might be the biggest idiot we've seen on this video. That is exactly what body positivity should be. You know what, guys? I'm the real body positivity activist. These guys are not. Understand that. I said in the beginning, I'm more empathetic than the average person who would watch a fat acceptance dunking. I'm also like more empathetic than the average supposed fat acceptance content creator, apparently.
And people are finally celebrating medium and small girls and people who occasionally get roles. Fat people are still getting the short end of this movement. No one cares anymore because it's like body positivity is for everybody.
Okay, this is the fatness spectrum. A small fat is a size 18 and lower, 1x or 2x. I'm a 4x, 5x. I'm a size 26, sometimes 28. I am the super fat you say I'm speaking over.
Yo, where the small fat women at?
Now, I know I may be the bad guy for saying
Yo, bang her cup. This is a good shilling experience for her tea. I like it.
this, but it will never not be funny to me that there is a fatness spectrum that doubles up as a victim hierarchy. Especially given that how fat you are directly relates to how many opinions you're allowed to express. We have more than earned the earth opening up and swallowing us all. Somewhere along the road, this ideology actually took root socially, making its way into dominant culture.
Maybe now we'll see the Victoria's Secret ad. Am I just trying to see some BBWs? Maybe. Maybe I've dabbled. Who's to say? Who's to say I haven't?
Brands started using obese models in their marketing, obese women on the front of magazines, and walking runways for major fashion houses.
No, like if I'm being real, like this is funny. It's kind of funny. Like if they're doing it because they're telling people it's okay. If you're this overweight, you're still a human. We still love you. That's okay. But if they're doing this to promote that this is like a healthy way of living, I do have some issues with it for sure. I think most rational people will. Oh, Lizzo. See, I've heard so much about Lizzo, mainly just that she's fat, if I'm being honest with you. But like also insane, right? Didn't she have like charges on her for doing something crazy to a backup dancer? I don't know. Anyway, I know South Park cooked her.
Like Lizzo and Tess Holliday popped up as notable celebrities and role models in the fat acceptance movement. And all around, it seemed that the ideology was making serious headway. I discussed at length in a previous video the origins of the body positivity movement, but to recap for those of you who are not familiar,
Hit me.
as it stands, there are three primary ideas that often get lumped together and are often discussed interchangeably.
Okay.
Health at every size, body positivity, and fat acceptance. The 2024 version of all of these is mostly just fat people screaming about discrimination and being very angry with doctors. Health at every size was the first movement to really
Honestly, being angry at doctors is fair. A lot of doctors do just suck. If we're being honest, God complexes, all that stuff.
gain momentum in the 70s and 80s. During this time, a strong emphasis was placed on being thin rather than being athletic or healthy. This time period gave us radical restrictive diets like the cabbage soup diet, and women, most notably, were often prescribed drugs to, curb their appetites and whatnot. I'm pretty sure this is where meth came from. Keeping the housewives skinny. After the death of singer Carol Carpenter, who suffered a cardiac arrest and passed away at...
It is kind of crazy that this was considered attractive back in the day. No disrespect. I'm just saying, she's like clearly gaunt, And me, myself, I am a thick dabbler, with all due respect. So it's just odd to see how preferences change throughout the years.
32 in 1983, after suffering from anorexia for a number of years, extreme diet culture and thinness was catapulted into public consciousness.
Damn, 32? Rip.
It really wasn't enough to change anything, as we saw things get probably a lot
Yo,
worse.
by the way, to the fellas in the chat, my fellow based alpha males, do you guys find runway models attractive? Like, their face, sure. But, like, overall, like, would you say a runway model is, like, your dream woman appearance-wise? Because I wouldn't. And I don't think I know many guys who would say that either, to be honest with you. Whatever.
In the 90s and early
It's to show off the clothes.
2000s, where, as I've mentioned before in other videos, women like
See,
Jessica
like she just said, the early 2000s, like, calling her fat, you're an idiot. With all due respect, you're an idiot. And Britney Spears was even less fat than this, and she got a lot of beef too.
Simpson were considered fat at only a size 4. But here, with the rise of the internet, and after decades of these body standards being front and center, health at every size found a home on
One
the
sec,
now
have a phone
mostly
call.
defunct
Sorry about that. Back to the video.
website Tumblr. Yes, everything bad begins with Tumblr.
Oh,
and from
God. I haven't heard of Tumblr in years.
there, it grew and mutated, first into body
Oh,
positivity.
wait. Hold up, dude. Did, like, the real death of Tumblr, I know it's back now, but did the real death of Tumblr infect Twitter? Is that why Twitter has become, like, even worse in recent years?
Which started as an ideology that encouraged
Nah, this is a banger. I'm down with this right here.
people to feel comfortable in their own skin, regardless of their flaws.
Yeah.
And then into fat acceptance, the new
No.
idea that looked down on dieting, weight loss, and fully rejected the idea of being thin and athletic in favor of accepting your weight no matter how big you get. And this is why I see no reason why we shouldn't bring back lobotomies. Now, because fat acceptance is very closely tied to activism, and because our populations are just getting fatter and fatter, this, of course, started to catch on outside of this online subgroup. Soon, it was being adopted as a marketing ploy by plenty of brands who saw
Wait,
an
I thought
opportunity
they're not supposed to work out, though.
to reach a brand new, highly motivated demographic. Clothing brands started carrying larger and larger sizes. Major brands like Victoria's Secret did away with its angels in favor of a more eclectic group of people. And anything left
I think that was fine. That Victoria's Secret catalog, or whatever you want to call that, didn't seem too bad.
than this. Anything
I mean,
that-
like I just said, though, runway models, whatever. Though I guess the Victoria's Secret runway models, they're not like the normal runway models. They're not like the other girls.
that was considered conventionally beautiful or athletic or thin was almost vilified. Gave us some really, really weird marketing. Let me tell you that much. Like, what is this? And why? Anyway,
Burberry?
this is more or less where we have
What were they showing? Where was the clothes? Burberry's clothes, right? Or is it a scent? I don't even know, man.
in for the past little while. Seeing obesity normalized everywhere, social media and TikTok especially being full of fat individuals deeming absolutely everything fat-phobic, and the rest of us growing more and more exhausted and impatient as time wears on. And the net effect of all of this, that I'm sure some of you have even noticed already, is that although our populations are getting fatter and fatter, there has been a massive shift away from these movements. Why brands and companies would choose to abandon ship is fairly self-evident. They finally cottoned on to the fact that the online screaming and activism and seal clapping for these initiatives doesn't actually translate into tangible sales. The activists that love to talk a big game online don't actually put their money where their mouth is. And
There's a very famous meme for this exact scenario. I'm going to try to find it and insert it here, but if I can't, my apologies.
Neither do the rest of us. I like my products without a side of lecturing.
So true.
You hear that, Nike? You're not my mom. Not to mention the fact that fat activists truly believed that corporations weren't just out here trying to make a buck.
No, yeah, like it's the same thing as Pride Month right now. Like if you see any company with a rainbow flag, they're farming. They're just farming the LGBTQ community for some simple dollars. You know how it is. Look at like I said, go find a rainbow profile pic. Now look up the same account, but the Middle East variant, like Nike Middle East, there is no rainbow. Gee, I wonder why. They don't care. Just remember that. They don't care.
And piggybacking off of trends, and that they actually believed in the tenets of fat acceptance and were promoting these radical ideologies is wild. I would love to live in that level of delusion. But I hate to break
No,
it to
yeah,
you.
I always say that. Like they say ignorance is bliss. I think delusion is also bliss. It must be pretty nice to live like that. In a way, I do envy the people whose brains work that way.
Sandra, Calvin Klein does not care about your war against the thins. It's also worth remembering that the Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light saga was a bit of a wake-up call for brands and companies all over the place. While this situation obviously has nothing to do with fat acceptance, it was a signal that the flagrant disregard for the opinions of the average person were simply not going to carry brands forward financially and socially anymore.
Being real, I'm kind of out of the loop on the Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light fiasco. I'm not even entirely sure what happened other than Kid Rock was like throwing a fit. That's all I know. I don't even know who Dylan Mulvaney is, if I'm being real with you guys. Are they an actor, actress? What's going on?
Companies, we get. That makes sense. But what about these fat influencers and former fat activists? What brought about their change of heart? Well, simply put, from what I can gauge, being fat long-term, and just being fat at all, is quite challenging. I don't mean the
Yeah,
eating-
which is kind of what I was saying previously. It makes sense that in the beginning, they're okay with being fat. As time goes on, brother, my knee hurts. I'm going to lose some weight.
Side of things. I mean, just doing basic tasks. It seems that as time has worn on, these influencers have realized that the messaging of the body positivity and fat acceptance movements was overall misleading, keeping them in an absolutely miserable loop of pain and unhappiness. Back in early 2023, an internet personality called Gabriela Lascano, I hope I said that correctly, made a TikTok explaining why she'd moved away from the fat acceptance movement and why women shouldn't put being fat above their health.
I don't care how trendy or cute or fun
That's a crazy sentence to even have to say.
to be fat.
Is it fun, trendy, and cute?
Don't let that hit your head. Don't let the idea that, oh, I could catch a dick no matter how big I am, cause you to forget about your health and to keep gaining weight.
Bro, what's wrong with people? Is that what people are thinking? Does that feed your ego? All right, man.
I actually feel kind of guilty for being a part of this movement. And I know it's not my fault or my responsibility to keep other people's health, but being a pioneer in this game, like I literally was one of the first influencers to work with Fashion Nova before they even had a plus size line.
She ends the video telling women that it isn't fat phobic to take care of their health, and none of this is a joke.
Health is real. Organs failing is real. Diabetes, heart disease, all that is real, okay? It's not fat phobic to care about your health.
So true.
And if nobody else wants to say it, let me tell you the truth.
Pop off, queen.
Love yourself at any size. Wear the
Talk
clothes
to
you
'em.
want to wear, but don't forget that your heart has to beat, babes.
Yeah, this is the take. This is the proper take.
Don't forget that your blood sugar has to keep a balance, babe. No amount of Instagram pictures looking cute and being an influencer wearing a size whatever you are is going to stop your heart from not beating if you eating bacon every day. And this is coming from
Hey
someone
man, bacon's not that bad for you as long as it's in moderation, all right?
who's learning those lessons now myself.
Moderation could be every day. By the way, not a doctor.
As expected, a bunch of people got very upset with her and accused her of abandoning the movement and being a horrible demon devil she-wench. I made that last one up, but you get the point. Needless to say, a lot of angry TikToks were made.
Yeah,
but
I
the
bet.
vitriol Lascano experienced
I
isn't
assume she's the girl that a lot of the previous TikToks were speaking of. For some reason, they never name names. Why doesn't anyone ever name a name when they're doing like a call-out drama farm post? It's just weird.
unique, and honestly, it's a really, really sad component of these movements. Anytime you try to do anything to better yourself, you are screeched at and accused of perpetuating fat phobia. Because at this stage, anything to do with health and fitness and slimming down is considered fat phobic. I hate it here.
So true.
Earlier in 2024, another fat influencer called Rosie Beam posted an Instagram story where she explained, "Full transparency, I have zero remorse or shame for being public about my weight loss. 2 years ago, I couldn't wipe my own ass."
Well, that was certainly not an image I needed. Similar
Nah, bars from her. Shout out her for admitting that, being vulnerable. Shout out her for taking care of herself. We stan her so far.
Similarly to Lascano's treatment, a bunch of fat activists kicked off online, accusing her of ableism and even racism, but for some reason. One
Racism?
obviously
Sick.
not remotely unhinged individual even wrote an entire blog post attacking Beam, while also simultaneously saying that she too is too
Do they all have bidets, you think? Yeah, right?
large to wipe her own butt, but explains why that's okay.
I don't even know what to say about this. I need a drink. But this is a major theme that is unfolding currently in the fat acceptance movement, with plenty of people now turning their backs on this ideology, on this culty group of people, saying that being fat or listening to
How
the
many
tenets-
people are really like a part of this though? Like it needs to be a small minority, right? Or is this me once again underestimating how grave a situation we were in? Like it just seems so stupid that I feel like people can't think this way. I've met a lot of fat people in my life, and like they know being fat isn't good for them.
of this movement is just keeping them perpetually in a horrible, horrible place.
43 years. Do you know the years I've wasted on that to realize it's about the health? It took me 43 years to realize that. Until January 16th, 2022, I said, that's it. I have to make a change. And I've been making that change. And I have no regrets. No regrets. I'm loving the choices I've been making because I'm down 70 pounds. And the problem is we have people who like to coddle us and not keep it 100% real. Because yes, just because I'm overweight doesn't mean I'm ugly. But it's a serious health issue.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're in your 20s, yeah, you don't feel it. Early 30s, you can still get away with it. But once you hit those late 30s, early 40s, that's when everything starts to really come into effect. Your knees, your feet, your everything just hurts. Like everything just bothers you. So seriously, if you are gaining weight just to be on this fat girl trend, stop it. Stop it, because it's not going to work out for you.
If people really are genuinely out there gaining weight to be on this fat girl trend, they need to be put into a mental institution. Is that a little bit of hyperbole? Yeah, but I'm sure you can see how insane that is. I don't think there's people doing that. I think there might be people who are just overeating in general, and they're going to use the fat girl trend as an excuse, perhaps? I don't know. Honestly, this is just a weird video. I feel kind of weird making this video because I'm over here like, they're fat, and like I'm over here like judging people's bodies in a way, but, you know, whatever.
In the end, you have to focus on your health.
The body positivity movement kept me fat.
Yo, talk
Body
to him,
positivity
Maddie.
also means enjoying the body you have and not
Maddie's such a dangerous name, dude. If you ever meet a Maddie, they're either going to be like a 10 personality-wise or a 0 personality-wise. Like, there's no in between.
beating yourself up over changes that happen naturally due to aging and pregnancy. Absolutely. But lifestyle choices? Absolutely not, dude. Are you kidding me? If your lifestyle choices are actively harming your body, there's nothing positive about that. When I was almost 200 pounds and I was pre-hypertensive and pre-diabetic at 19 years old.
I wonder how tall she is. 200 pounds. If she's like 5'3", that's still like much lighter than everyone we've seen.
And when people were telling me, just love yourself, embrace body positivity, like there was nothing positive about anything that I was doing. Self-love should be about loving yourself and taking the best care of yourself.
Very self-aware. With that said, I'm not going to be dumb. You know, if you're depressed, it's going to be very hard to try to get up and lose weight. So do what's best for you in the moment. You know what I mean? If you're too depressed, you're overeating. I get it. I understand. I will never judge you for it.
So when I was 19 and I was obese and I was already having
I
health
will judge you for like trying to say being fat is good for you, though. I will judge you for that.
issues, the best thing I ever did was look at myself in the mirror and tell myself, holy if you do not make changes, you are going to go down a road that you are not going to be able to turn back from.
The New York Times even ran a piece in February 2024 about this exact topic. The story covered several former fat influencers who lost weight and then had to navigate this new world and the response from their audiences. The tragedy of it all, at least in my opinion, is the pushback these women are getting from their former audiences and other fat activists who feel as though they've been abandoned and mistreated here somehow. This has always been a feature of this group of people. Anytime one of their idols starts working out or working to better themselves, people go absolutely nuts. And I think for a lot of us, it's hard to understand why you wouldn't want your favorite person to better themselves. However, an article I read about this issue took a run at explaining this reaction, writing, "People don't look at body positive influencers for change, but for validation. If they wanted change, they'd follow someone who's already declared they're embarking on a quote-unquote fitness journey." And that does more or less seem to be at the heart of the issue.
I mean, yeah. We all know that. Like on the surface, you're like, that makes no sense. Why wouldn't you be happy? But obviously they're following because they remind them of each other. They're looking for validation, right? Much like how a lot of people watch Sydney for validation. It's what we do on here. Maybe some of you guys watch me for validation. Then again, I upset like both sides of opinions pretty frequently. If you're far left or far right, you probably hate me. But, you know, a lot of people seek validation in their favorite online personas.
Speaking of hearts, I think you guys know where this is going. There's one final very important part of the failure of these movements that I wanted to touch on, and it is the passing of fat activists and fat acceptance people.
All right, this is going to be where this thumbnail comes in, which I think is like I still think it's kind of crazy. I really do. There have been some people saying extremely stupid things, like that girl in the beginning calling people ugly for being skinny. Like if she died because she was fat, I wouldn't laugh. Genuinely, I wouldn't. I would feel bad, despite her saying very stupid things, but let's see what Sydney has to say.
Around the end of 2023, several outlets published articles about several notable fat acceptance people passing away before the age of 45. Kat Pause, a professor of fat studies,
Professor?
a TikToker called Waffler69, a reality star called Jamie Lopez, and another TikToker called Brittany Sauer. It's worth noting that Waffler...
Yo, that's lit though. Is that really? Did he make it? I kind of want one.
Name is actually Taylor Lejeune, wasn't expressly part of the fat acceptance movement. It seems he, along with other food creators, got fat by virtue of doing this
Oh, damn.
job.
He was just a mukbanger. Yo, rip, bro. I love watching food review videos, by the way.
Which just
I
is
just know you just won't watch me watch a food review video, so I don't.
a whole thing on its own. But the other three women were, at one time or another, very proud of their bodies and their fatness.
Yeah, with all due respect, you're going to take it disrespectfully if you feel a certain way, but I'll preface it with all due respect. I can't, like, fathom how someone gets this big. Like, it's just crazy to me personally. Like, I know I would never be able to let myself get like that. But I know I'm my own person with my own, different set of obstacles in life, and they're the same way. I get it. I know. But just speaking from me personally, never in a million years. Run the simulation a million times. It never happens to me.
Jose was staunchly pro-obesity until the end. She even made a point of suggesting
Yeah,
that
like being pro-obesity, like what is wrong with you? Like you should be backhanded for that statement. Stop it.
obesity wasn't unhealthy.
Okay.
Brittany Sauer originally made TikTok videos suggesting she too was very happy being overweight.
Just because I'm fat, that doesn't invalidate the things that I say.
True, unless you say it's good to be obese, then it does invalidate what you say. There's a conflict there.
But tragically, before she passed away, she realized that promoting obesity was
Let me
wrong.
stop replying. I'm like battling dead people. It feels bad. This video feels bad, man.
In one
Thanks
of
for
her
watching.
last TikTok videos ever, she warned other people not to make the same mistake.
I ruined my life with food,
Oh no.
binge eating, and lack of self-care.
She had remorse?
And I'm hoping that it's not too late for me this time.
Bruh.
I'm out of breath constantly. And I wish I knew the cost of eating. I wish I knew the cost of the comfort at the time that I was seeking. And I just want this to be a warning to other people.
This was more or less
Nah, that's messed up. Out of respect, I didn't hit this cry face, but I wanted to. That's real messed up. All the psychopaths in the beginning trying to promote obesity and fat acceptance, quote unquote, their version of fat acceptance, they should watch that video. Because, that was so real. That was so raw. That's so sad. Man.
the same story for Jamie Lopez, a woman who starred on the show Super Size Salon. She seemed initially very proud of her appearance and weight.
Well, it made her a bunch of money, and, the people who run the show, they are predatory. Any of those weird, TLC shows, I think, where they prey upon hoarders and any other people with, obvious mental issues, I do not respect it in the slightest. This included.
Her salon was also dedicated to helping other overweight and obese women, providing them an experience that they couldn't get elsewhere due to their size. However, she soon began updating her audience about her weight loss journey and said that she lost 400 pounds.
Bro. Lost 400? How much did she weigh? That's the most I've ever heard anyone ever lose. She has to be what? 700? If that's real, yeah. Though I guess I would need to see an after picture.
Of you metric babies out there, I have no idea what that is in kilos. How much is 400 pounds in kilos? 181. That's literally I'm so bad at maths. 4 of me. That is genuinely a wild achievement.
Nah, for real, bro.
Personally, I think it's really tragic that the last two women were really making an effort to
Yeah.
get their lives on track.
It's mad sad.
And trying to make healthy and positive changes so that they could live longer and ended up passing away anyway. And meanwhile, the same culty group of people who promoted the ideas that led to their death in the first place
Yep.
will continue to promote them.
Yeah, that's the real issue. That's the real problem here. That girl in the beginning with the shaved head, she's terrible.
Going forward. The bottom line is that while fat acceptance is definitely falling out of favor and more people are waking up to its lies, it is still operating as an ideology, as a group of people, and it is still pushing ideas that are leading people down a terrible path. Like I mentioned earlier, the way in which fat acceptance came
Stop being so rude to people on their appearance. Stop it.
into being was largely a response to earlier movements that prioritized extreme thinness, often at the expense of women's health. But just as that social era fell, so too was the glorification of morbid obesity destined to fall. And not to be cliche, of course, but the pendulum always swings back. And I think fat activists had a somewhat shorter shelf life than their predecessors, in part because they were so obnoxious, but also because people do, in fact, want to feel good. I know, crazy, right?
And even if you are gifted with the most body confidence in the world, you are not going to feel good when you are severely overweight to the point that you can barely function. That is ultimately why more and more fat influencers are reporting that they want to lose weight. Not because they hate themselves, but because they didn't feel good in the bodies they were promoting as acceptable. Now, for me, the interesting part hasn't been the fall of this movement, because that was really just inevitability. Social movements and trends come and go all the time, after all. The interesting part has been the reaction of those involved in this movement at its decline. It's been very, very bizarre to witness. Cult-like is really the only word that I have for it. It's like a bunch of people are trapped in a burning room and they're yelling at the ones going for the
Just seeing this one's like irritating me. Like, I didn't hear anything Sydney said. I was saying, God, I hate this girl. God, I hate this girl. God, I hate this girl.
In the end, I am genuinely really glad to see more and more people taking control of their lives and saying no to fat activism and no to fat acceptance, because nothing good can come of these ideologies. And maybe with enough time, we can stamp this stupidity out entirely. Now, with that being said, and before I open the floor to all of you, this is just a reminder, check out Magic Mind using the link in the description.
Don't buy it. Don't buy it,
And don't
guys.
forget to use my code SydneyWatson20 for up to 56%
It seems
off
sus.
your
Don't
first
buy it. Don't buy it.
Now, I open the floor to all of you. What do you all think? Are you on my side of this issue where you believe that fat acceptance is generally just a terrible ideology? Or do you think that there is some good in it and maybe it is just trying to make people feel comfortable in their own skin?
I think my version of fat positivity is trying to help people feel comfortable in their own skin. I think the version of fat positivity and fat acceptance that was shown in this video is dangerous, for sure, and full of brain rot.
What do you make of the body positivity movement? Do you think that we've moved really far away from its original goals and thoughts?
I
Or do you
do.
think that it's kind of in line with what people are feeling and thinking about themselves today?
I do not.
What do you think?
I think that there is body positivity for certain groups of people and not other groups of people. I went on the little rant in the beginning, but short men, they get screwed a lot. I'd even go as so far to say they get screwed more than fat women. And they can't fix that, you know, other than a very expensive, dangerous surgery that will leave them mad weak forever. But we don't care. Society doesn't care.
Think of the brands and corporations moving away from this kind of messaging? Was it
Well, they
kind of
got their bag. Now they're heading out. Makes sense to me.
be expected? Was it unexpected?
Expected.
What do you think of the fat activists who are attacking their own, who are trying to get in shape?
I think they are beyond brain dead. I think they legitimately need mental help. Those ones should be in a mental institution. Not really hyperbole there. Like, they are a danger to themselves and others. I feel bad for them.
Is it good? Is it bad? Are they terrible people?
Yes.
Are the people losing weight terrible people?
Obviously
And
not.
what do you generally make of this issue overall? As always, if you have made it this far in the video, congratulations. I always like having you along for the full
Handshake.
ride. If you are new here and you are not subscribed already and you would like to see more of me and more of this kind of content, feel free to subscribe to the channel.
Will do. And to my viewers, same thing to you. If you enjoyed that, please sub. I'm going to thumb it up. That was a crazy video. Kind of a sad video. I thought it would be more funny going into it. I thought, you know, there'd be a little bit more of a back and forth between me and Sydney, but that was terrible. That was sad. I hate it here. Feels bad, man. But hey, yo, if you enjoyed, I'm glad you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitch if you're into that. And yeah, I'll see you when I see you.